It was a bright, sunny morning when I first met her. Not in person, of course, I wasn't that lucky, but through the tall fences of the wildlife sanctuary where she lived. Her name was Tallulah, according to the sign near her enclosure. She was a giraffe, taller than anything else around her, with long legs like stilts and a neck that seemed to stretch endlessly toward the sky. Her coat was covered in patches of orange and brown, each one unique, like fingerprints on a hand. I had gone to the sanctuary on a whim, looking for something to distract me from the monotony of daily life. Work had been stressful lately, and my mind felt cluttered with worries I couldn't seem to shake off. I thought maybe spending time among animals would help clear my head. Little did I know how much this visit would change the way I saw the world, and myself. When I arrived at Tallulah's area, she was standing near the fence, munching lazily on leaves from a low-hanging branch. Her movements were slow and deliberate, as if every step required careful thought. Despite her size, there was a grace about her that made her seem almost otherworldly. I stood there watching her for what felt like hours, mesmerized by how effortlessly she reached heights I could only dream of touching. Tallulah noticed me after a while, or maybe she just sensed someone staring. She turned her head slowly, her large, soulful eyes locking onto mine. For a moment, I forgot how to breathe. There was something deeply intelligent in her gaze, as though she understood far more than most people gave her credit for. It wasn't curiosity or fear, it was connection, pure and simple. Most visitors didn't stay long. They took pictures, laughed at her awkward gait, and moved on to see zebras or ostriches. But I couldn't leave. Something about Tallulah drew me in. Maybe it was her quiet dignity, or perhaps it was the way she carried herself, with confidence but also gentleness. Whatever it was, I found myself returning to the sanctuary week after week, always making sure to stop by her enclosure. One day, I brought carrots and lettuce, hoping the staff would let me feed her. To my surprise, they agreed. Holding out the food, I waited nervously as Tallulah approached. Her tongue, long, purple, and surprisingly dexterous, wrapped around the carrot and plucked it gently from my hand. The sensation was strange but oddly comforting. After finishing the snack, she lowered her head slightly, as if thanking me. In that moment, I felt an overwhelming sense of peace. Over time, I learned more about Tallulah's story. She had been rescued from a private collector who hadn't taken proper care of her. Years of neglect had left her malnourished and anxious, but the sanctuary staff worked tirelessly to nurse her back to health. Hearing this broke my heart. How could anyone mistreat such a magnificent creature? As weeks turned into months, my visits became less about escaping stress and more about connecting with Tallulah. I began volunteering at the sanctuary, helping clean enclosures and prepare meals for the animals. The staff taught me fascinating things about giraffes, their incredible height, up to 18 feet, their ability to run up to 35 miles per hour, and their unique social behaviors. But no fact could compare to experiencing Tallulah's presence firsthand. One rainy afternoon, I arrived to find her unusually restless. She paced along the edges of her enclosure, her ears twitching at every sound. Thunder rumbled in the distance, and lightning lit up the darkening sky. I wondered if storms reminded her of harder times before the sanctuary. Wanting to comfort her, I stayed longer than usual, talking softly despite knowing she probably couldn't understand me. "You've come so far," I whispered, leaning against the fence. "You're safe now." To my astonishment, Tallulah stopped pacing and walked over to me. She stretched her neck down until her face was close to mine, separated only by the fence. Her breath was warm against my skin, and her eyes held the same wisdom I'd seen before, but now, they also reflected trust. My throat tightened as tears welled up in my eyes. This wasn't just an animal, she was a friend. Months later, I faced a major decision in my life, whether to take a new job in another city. It was an exciting opportunity, but leaving meant saying goodbye to Tallulah. On my final visit, I brought her favorite treats and spent hours sitting quietly nearby. When it was time to go, she came over one last time, nudging her nose against the fence as if urging me not to forget her. "I won't," I promised, placing my hand on the barrier between us. "Thank you for everything." Leaving the sanctuary felt like losing a piece of myself, but Tallulah's lessons stayed with me. She had taught me patience, resilience, and the importance of reaching high, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. Because of her, I chose to embrace change rather than fear it. Years passed, and though I never returned to the sanctuary, I often thought about Tallulah. One day, I received a letter from the staff enclosing a photo of her standing proudly under a tree, her neck arched gracefully toward the sun. Written below was a simple message: "She remembers you." Holding the photo, I smiled. Tallulah may have been miles away, but her spirit remained close, reminding me that even the tallest challenges can be overcome with courage and grace.